evening to all the aspirants. My name is Sumeet and today I am going to take a session on current affairs. From last week we have started this sessions on current affairs. So last week I have finished the first week of June. So for today we will cover the second week of June, all the important events with respect to your government examinations, be it UPSC, KPSC, Police Constable, PSI. Keeping in mind all those examinations, we will try and cover some of the major topics from which expected questions can come in your exams. Those are the topics which we will be covering from today's session, right? So let us deep dive into the subject. Okay, we'll start from the state, right? There are some current events which are going on in our state, so we will try and focus on that first. Then after that, we'll go to the national, then we'll go to the international level, then after that some science and technology, and after that we will take up the final session on the sports. Is that fine? So let us start with the state. So in our state recently, there was a cabinet meeting which was held just a day before yesterday. In that cabinet meeting, the Chief Minister, both the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as well as the DK Shivkumar, they have said that the cabinet has put forward a proposal of holding caste survey once again. Please keep in your mind, this caste survey was already held. This was already held in the year 2015. In the year 2015, there was the first caste survey which was held. It was called as Social and Educational Survey. This was held in the year 2015 and it was held under the leadership of CM Siddaramaiah, and he had given the chair of this committee was K. Kantaraj. This survey was held under the auspice or the chairmanship of K. Kantaraj. He was the ex-president of Karnataka Backward Class Commission. Is that understood? So this report was released to the government, not to the public, but to the government in the year 2024. To the government, and still the findings of these reports are not yet out. They haven't been made public. However, there are some sources which have revealed the fact that in the state of Karnataka, there are two dominant caste bodies which have actually opposed this census which was held in the year 2015. And those two dominant communities are these two communities have opposed the report which was released in 2024. The survey which was taken up in the year 2015, that survey, the results and the reports of that survey have been opposed by both these communities. Why have they opposed it? It has been opposed by both these communities because they feel that their true representation was not done in this report. They felt that this K. Kantaraj report, which was released to the government, to the cabinet itself in the year 2024, these two communities, they have said that they have got not the right kind of representation in that report. So hence, keeping in mind the opposition from both the dominant classes and caste groups, the government, the Siddaramaiah government, CM, the Siddaramaiah government, the Congress government recently in a cabinet meeting, they have come to the conclusion that this survey has to be reheld once again. So this survey has to be reheld once again. So it has been planned that the survey which the government will be holding would be done in the period of 90 to 60 days. 90 to 60 days. This has been what has been released from the government recently, right? So this is as far as the caste survey goes, right? Is that understood? So let us move to the next topic. The next topic is about Totapuri mangoes, right? Totapuri mangoes is very much famous in the southern part of Karnataka. It is generally grown in the southern part of Karnataka, and these mangoes, it requires a tropical climate. In that tropical climate, the weather should be a bit more warmer, whereas the soils, they should be fertile, like a loamy soils, right? They are grown majorly in the tropical regions, tropical climate. Tropical climate. When I use the word tropical climate, you will have to understand that the temperatures should be warm and there has to be proper irrigation. Proper irrigation and fertile soil. Fertile soil. So these are the conditions which support the growth of Totapuri mangoes. And presently in the state of Karnataka, especially in the regions of Bangalore, Ramnagara or Bangalore South as we have renamed it, as well as Kolar, these are the regions where this Totapuri mangoes has been grown regularly. But this has been recently in the news because the Andhra Pradesh government has released a government order saying that the Totapuri mangoes coming from Karnataka should be banned in Andhra Pradesh. That means the Totapuri mangoes which are grown in Karnataka are henceforth not allowed entry into the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, why is that? Why is that? Generally, in Andhra Pradesh, the cost of per kilo of Totapuri is rupees 8. Whereas the cost of rupees 8 per kg. Whereas the cost of Totapuri mangoes, which are grown in Karnataka, in the southern part of Karnataka, they cost somewhere around 4 to 5 rupees per kg. 4 to 5 rupees per kg. And don't you think when compared to the Andhra mangoes, Andhra Totapuri mangoes, these mangoes which are grown in Karnataka are much cheaper? Now if these cheap mangoes, if they make an entry into the state of Andhra Pradesh, don't you think all the produce which has been grown in the Andhra Pradesh, they would be discarded? Nobody would buy this for being very costly, whereas cheaper ones coming from Karnataka will get a head start in the sale of these mangoes. Of fearing the loss which will be happening to the farmers of local Andhra Pradesh farmers, the government has now passed an order keeping in mind the interests of the farmers of Andhra Pradesh. They have kept the interest of Andhra Pradesh in their mind and they have banned the entry of Totapuri mangoes from Karnataka into the state of Andhra Pradesh. Right? Is that understood? Now, what are the uses of this Totapuri mango? Let us look into that. The major use, let us look into that. The major use of this Totapuri mango is that it is used in manufacture of beverages and other juices. Why is that? That is because the pulp extraction from this Totapuri fruit is very convenient and easy for the industries. That is why the industries which are specifically into beverages manufacture as well as juice manufacture, they try and procure these Totapuri mangoes, right? So that is why there is a huge demand for this Totapuri mangoes, especially in the regions of Andhra Pradesh as well as Karnataka. Now, the Andhra Pradesh government has recently banned the entry of Totapuri mangoes from Karnataka into the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, let us look at this from a Indian polity perspective, right? So, is it legal for the state of Andhra Pradesh to ban the entry of Karnataka mangoes? But as per Article 301, as per As per Article 301, the ban doesn't stand. Interstate trade cannot be stopped. This is what Article 301 says. Is that understood? This is against the Constitution of India. Is that understood? So this particular ban coming from the Andhra Pradesh government is not tenable when it comes to the Constitution of India. But however, there is a provision. There is a provision under Article 304 A and B. It is said that with the concurrence of the state legislature of Andhra Pradesh as well as the assent of President of India, the government of Andhra Pradesh can actually impose such a ban. This is what the Constitution says. The state legislature with the presidential assent can actually impose a ban. This is what our Constitution says. But however, this article has not been applied by the government of Andhra Pradesh, right? So this is the issue which has been doing a lot of rounds in our state topic. So this is important as far as your exams are concerned, right? Okay, now let us move ahead in our studies about current affairs. So recently, I hope you guys are very much aware that recently in the city of Ahmedabad, there was an airline crash, and that airline belonged to a company called as Boeing 787 jet. Boeing Dreamliner, that is the name of the airplane. The Boeing is a company which is based in USA and it has manufactured this airplane. Right? There were many whistleblowers who had actually raised a red flag regarding the operations of Boeing. They were saying that there are some design faults in that airplane, and they had predicted that if this aircraft is used further in civil aviation, there are chances that it might lead to some disaster. This is what those whistleblowers had said about this airplane. But however, these Boeing have been recently flying quite safely all over the world as well as in India. But however, on that unfortunate and fateful day, this airline met with an accident and almost all the passengers except one perished in that disaster, in that accident. This is what I really wanted to say to you. But let us look into some important factors regarding the aviation, the Indian aviation scene. Many international media, as usual, many international newspapers as well as media, all have started criticizing the Indian aviation industry. But is that right? Is that right? Is that right on their part to criticize India? Now let us look into that. Okay. So please understand, India is the third largest aviation market. After USA, China, India stands at the third place when it comes to the aviation market. Please understand that. And we flew more than 8,000 planes per day. You just think about this stat. If we are flying 8,000 airplanes per day and all those planes till now have safely traversed through our airspace without any disaster, and just pointing to this Boeing 787 disaster and saying that the airspace industry of India is not safe, do you think this statement is justified? No, it is not. No, it is not. Please understand, India is the third largest market for civil aviation. That is point number one. Point number two, we rank 49th, 48th to be precise. We rank 48th when it comes to the civil aviation safety. Civil aviation safety. we rank in the world at the 48th place when it comes to civil aviation safety. Many larger countries and developed countries like China, Israel and Turkey are much below this number. Please understand that. When it comes to safety, India has given this rank. It is not easy to achieve this rank. Please keep this thing in your mind. Being the third largest civil aviation industry, as well as having the 48th rank when it comes to the safety of civilian aviation. This number trumps even China, Turkey and Israel, developed countries like them. So do you think we are not a safe country to fly in? No, we are not. Now let us look at point number 3. Point number 3 says that Indian civil aviation has recently expanded. In the year 2014, we had somewhere around 57 airports. But as far as 2022 is concerned, we have 147 airports which are functioning properly. And there is this scheme called as Udan scheme. Udan scheme. उड़ान as in उड़े देश का आम नागरिक. उड़े देश का आम नागरिक. Under this scheme, the government of India has spread the civil aviation industry into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And this is the reason why there is an explosion of airports in India. All are functioning in a very proper and decent way. Is that understood? Right. So when these points are in our favor, do you think that criticism from international media about the lack of safety provisions when it comes to civil aviation in India is justified? No, it is not. Please keep these things in your mind. Right. Is that understood? Right. We'll go to the next session, next point. Okay. Let us talk about Starlink. Starlink. What is Starlink? Starlink is actually, it is an initiative by Elon Musk. Elon Musk. So under this initiative, many satellites in the world, they have been positioned in a low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit. When I use the word, what do you understand by this? Low Earth orbit. When I use this word, you will have to keep in your mind that the satellites are placed at a very lower orbit with respect to the Earth. Then that height is about 550 kilometers. 550 kilometers. If this is the Earth, then the satellites are placed at a very lower orbit of our Earth, and this distance is up to 550 kilometers. You'll have to keep that in mind. The satellites which are placed over the lower orbits of our Earth, they help in the transfer of data through internet. Is that understood? And this is guided by the principle of radio frequencies. The satellites, they communicate with a user on Earth using the radio frequencies, right? So this is what the technology of Starlink is. This is what the project Starlink is going to achieve. Now under this project, there is no need of having optical fibers. And signal receiving infrastructure on Earth. So this obviates the need of having cables, optical fibers, as well as receiving infrastructure on Earth. The satellites, what they will do is that they will use the radio frequency to connect with the user who is seated on the Earth. So what are the basic benefits of having this Starlink? The basic benefits is that in some of the remotest areas of our earth, they will be able to have access to the internet without having to invest in heavy infrastructure when it comes to internet. That is point number 1. Point number 2, let us look at point number 2. Point number 2 is about India. Let us talk about this particular Starlink project with respect to India. Now, the Department of Telecommunication, the Department of Telecommunication has given this license to Starlink to open its services in India. Is that understood? So along with Starlink, the same license has been given to Geo as well as Atlusat. These are the two companies which have also gained the rights to provide services such as Starlink. So Starlink is the third organization which has got this permission to provide this kind of basic internet to the remotest areas. Now under this Starlink, let us look at the internet speeds. The basic important internet speeds which can be provided under this Starlink project is up to 150 bits per second. 150 bits per second. That is what the speed is. 150 Gbps. 150 gigabytes per second. That is the speed of the internet by which there will be a transmission of information. Is that understood? So that all in all, you'll have to keep in mind that this is super fast. This is super fast. How much do you think the presently the Airtel as well as the Geo organizations, the speed of the internet which we are getting from this organization, how much do you think is the speed? The speed is somewhere around 15 to 20 Gbps. But with the use of Starlink, we will be able to get the speeds of 150 Gbps. Please keep this thing in your mind, which means that we will be able to access internet in a much better way, in a much more faster way. This is what the point is. Is that understood? Okay, now let us go into the next topic. Right, Cropic, which means collection of real-time observations and photo of crops. This project has been launched by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Please keep this thing in your mind. Under this project, it is generally launched in some of the select 50 districts of our country. This project is launched in the select 50 districts of our country. Now under this project, farmers, they will be able to take photographs, take photos of their crops, and they will be able to upload it to some main cloud streaming, right? In that cloud streaming, with the help of artificial intelligence, the growth of crops can be easily monitored, right? So say for example, if a crop, say for example a crop like wheat is being grown in a district of Punjab, in the state of Punjab, let us take that as an example. So after the phase of sowing, when the plant slowly starts to grow, what the farmer can do is that he can take a photograph of that growing plant in different stages of its growth, and he can use that image to upload it to an AI, and that AI will analyze the growth of that crop, and in that analysis, if everything is fine, then that is great, and in case if the AI finds any fault in the growth of that crop, then the same information will be shared with the respective agencies of state and district administration. Now, what is the use of this information to the state and district administration. Say for example, if the crop is not growing in a proper way, or the crop has been infected with the disease, or say for example some pests have already come and attacked those crops and they have destroyed it. So it will be easy for the state administration as well as district administration to take that information into account. So once if they take that information into account, then they will be easily able to provide relief to the farmers at an early stage, providing relief to the farmers at an early stage. When I use the word relief to the farmers, what do you understand by that? Please understand, there is a scheme called as Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Under this scheme, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Under this scheme, the crops are insured. The crops are insured against any disasters. The crops are insured against disasters. So if a farmer, if he uploads that photo of a crop to an AI and that AI detects that the plant growing over there, it has been infected by a disease, so that information will be shared to the respective state government and the district administration, and that district administration can immediately plan relief to the farmers. Relief as in providing insurance to the farmers, So don't you think this is beneficial to our farmers? They don't have to keep on going to the government offices and filling all the forms and applying for this insurance coverage, right? So this time will be saved for the farmers, as well as the district administration would have solved the problem at a correct time. It would have nipped the problem in the bud, as we say in English. Is that understood? So this is beneficial. So this has been implemented this year. Cropic. This has been implemented by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. But please understand, this has been restricted only as a pilot project to 50 districts in our country, right? So there is also another point which I would like to share. Now this has been implemented this year for 2 seasons. Please keep in your mind, this has been implemented for 2 seasons, and those seasons are Kharif season of 2025 and Rabi season of 2025-26. Kharif season is nothing but it is a season in which monsoons, in the season of monsoons, the agriculture activity or whatever the crops that are grown during the monsoons are called as Kharif season, and those crops which are grown in the winter season are called as Rabi crops. Is that understood? So during both these seasons, this particular project has been implemented or is in the phase of getting implemented in 50 respective districts. Is that understood? With the help of AI, we are trying to solve the problems of farmers by this scheme, by this particular project. Is that understood? So now let us go into the next topic. Okay, so there is another important topic which has made a lot of headlines in our newspapers as well as PIB, Press Information Bureau, and that is about the e-waste recycle park. Recently, in the national capital of Delhi, the government has approved a e-recycle park in a place called as Holambi Kalan. There is this place called as Holambi Kalan in the region of Delhi where this e-park is set to come out. E-waste park. What do you understand by this e-waste recycle? E-waste recycle is nothing but it is an activity through which electronic wastes, when I use the word electronic wastes, what things should come to your mind? The things that should come to your mind is that your old mobile phones, your old laptops, your old computers, or anything which is related to electronics, which have been outdated, and those outdated things which are not in use, they can be recycled in this place called as E-Waste Recycling Park. And this park has been planned in the region of Delhi, in a place called as Hulambi Kalan. Is that understood? So this park has been planned in this place called as Hulambi Kalan under a PPP model. Under the PPP model. What do you understand by this? PPP model. PPP model is nothing but public-private partnership. So it is a partnership between a private company as well as the government of India. Both are coming together to start this e-waste, electronic waste recycling park. And now this park is designed in the model of this is the model in which it has been designed. Now I'll explain what this model is. D stands for design, B stands for build, F stands for finance, O stands for operate, and T stands for transfer. Okay, under this project, the private firm, it will take the responsibility of not just designing a layout for this e-recycle park, but it will design as well as build, and it will also invest amount or the funding or the money which is required in the construction, as well as it will operate as in it will take up some operations over there, not some, but and the entire operations is being taken care of by that private company, and after some period of time it will transfer the same to the government. Is that understood? So this is the type of a model. It is a type of a model which comes under PPP. Is that understood? And that duration of operation is 15 years for this project. 15 years for this project. Is that understood? For a period of 15 years, the private company will not only design, it will also build as well as finance as well as operate there for 15 years, and after the completion of 15 years, the entire project of that place will be transferred to the government. Is that understood? And this park, it is said to be covering up to 11 acres of the area in Delhi. Is that understood? So these are the important points with respect to this project which you will have to keep in your mind. Okay, now let us go to the next topic. Now let us talk about the FDI inflow pattern. Recently there was an article in the Hindu newspaper. It was talking about the pattern of FDI flows. What do you understand by this word FDI? FDI is nothing but foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment. Whenever a foreigner or a foreign company or a non-resident Indian who is staying in abroad, all these organizations or individuals would want to invest in India, they do it through this route called as foreign direct investment. Is that understood? Say for example, if Bill Gates of USA, if he wants to invest in India in a project, he does this through FDI route, and that particular activity of Bill Gates investing in India for a project is called as foreign direct investment. Now let us look into this pattern. If you look at this year's pattern, few important points you'll have to keep in your mind, right? We'll talk about that points. Now keep in your mind that the state which receives the highest number of FDI inflow was Maharashtra. Please keep this thing in your mind. Maharashtra, the state of Maharashtra. Maharashtra has received the majority of FDI this year in India, and that is up to 31%. It has received the total, if 100% is coming into India, in that 100%, 31% of investments has been grabbed by India. Okay, and the second place, and that second most important place, that privilege of coming at the second position goes to the state of Karnataka. Our state Karnataka is at the second position when it comes to the FDI, and it has received up to 20% of FDI. It has received 20% of total incoming of FDI. But please keep in your mind, both these states have received more than half of the FDI which is coming into India. Is that understood? Is that understood? Now, what is the reason behind both these states receiving such a huge amount of FDI? Right? There are some important factors which you'll have to keep in your mind. The first factor is that political stability. First one is political stability. Political stability as in the polity over there is stabilized, the administrative rules over there have been streamlined. Is that understood? As well as labor policies, land policies, all these policies, they are streamlined and have been made much more business friendly. This is what this word says. Let us look at point number 2. The second most important point which attracts FDI is that the ecosystem, the business ecosystem. The business ecosystem in these states are particularly very much business friendly. When I use this word, what do you understand by that? The ecosystem is business friendly, as in there is a lot of trained pool, skilled people, skilled workforces readily available in those states. That is point number 1. Point number 2, many businesses which have been running over there, they are also supportive towards the projects which have been planned to start over there. So this is what ecosystem means. This as well as many other things. Let us not get into that, but I hope you are getting a fair idea about what I'm trying to say, right? So the major factors, the article says that the political stability as well as the ecosystem present in those particular states are business friendly. They have made ease of doing business easily. That is what the article says, right? So these are the two states. This is the reason why these two states have received a much higher FDI inflow. Let us look at some other states. The state of Gujarat. The state of Gujarat has also this year received a very high amount of FDI, and it has received 11%, which is up from 7% earlier. Whereas the state of Tamil Nadu has received a much lower share. Earlier it used to get 11%, but it is now down to 6%. This is what the report says. Is that understood? This is with respect to the FDI inflow pattern of India. This I think you'll have to keep in your mind, and I think you can use this information in your essays as well as your general studies 1 and 2 papers for your economics as well as your KPSC, UPSC, GS2 paper, right? Is that understood? Right. Now let us look into the other topic. This is a topic about science and technology. Please keep in your mind, AX4 Axiom 4 mission has been recently planned. Now this is a joint mission which has been jointly implemented by NASA and ESA. NASA as in National Aeronautical Space Agency, which is a part of USA, and ESA is European Space Agency. There are 4 countries who are part of this project. One is India, the other one is USA, the other one is Poland, and the other one is Hungary. These are the 4 countries who are a part of this project, and since India is also a part of this project, please understand the man who is representing India over here is Shubham Shukla. He is a designated pilot. He is a designated pilot for this mission. You'll have to keep this in mind. Now, what does this mission doing? What is it doing? It is doing nothing but it is flying. It is flying humans to the outer space. It is flying humans to the outer space. So it is a human space flight mission. Human space flight mission. Under this mission, what they are trying to achieve is that they are going to the International Space Station. They are going over there and they will conduct some experiments which are related to impact of zero gravity on humans, as well as they will also test materials in space. Along with this, there are some major important tasks which they have been asked to do, but these are some of the more important tasks which you'll have to keep in your mind. So these 4 people, they are going to the outer space, to the International Space Station, and over there they are going, and what are they doing? They are staying there for 15 days. There is a duration of 15 days. They will be staying in that zone of outer space, and there they will implement these tasks which have been specifically given to them. Is that understood? Right. Now they will be flying in an engine called as, in a flight or a space flight which has been designed by a company called as SpaceX. SpaceX is a company whose owner is the famous Elon Musk. Okay, SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Falcon 9 rocket. This is the rocket which is used to transfer the people from Earth to the outer space, and they will be doing this under the Dragon capsule. You'll have to keep this in your mind with respect to your exams perspective. You might get a question saying that the Axiom 4 mission has used which capsule to transfer humans from Earth to outer space. And you'll be getting a lot of options. In that option, the option which mentions Dragon capsule should be your answer. Is that understood? So you'll have to memorize this thing in your mind. Okay. Now let us get into the other important topic. The other important topic is about the 52nd G7 summit. Recently, a summit of G7 is being planned in the country of Canada. Please keep this thing in your mind. G7 is nothing but it is a grouping. It is an informal grouping of 7 largest and strongest economic democracies which are economically stronger. Please understand, I am using the word informal. When I use the word informal, what you'll have to understand is that it doesn't have a specific secretariat for itself, nor is there a treaty or an agreement to support this G7. G7 is nothing but like-minded countries who are democracies and also economically superior. They have come together informally to form a union called as G7 or group of 7. Is that understood? Now this summit is this year. It is going to be held in the country of Canada. Canada is the host country for this summit, and in this summit the PM of Canada, Mike Carney is the PM of Canada, and he has invited PM Modi of India to be a part of this summit. Is that understood? So the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Carney, has invited Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be a part of this G7 summit. Is that understood? Now let us look at some history about this G7 summit. G7 summit was first formally, the countries which are a part of G7 are France, Italy, Germany, UK, US and Japan. These were the original 7 countries which had formed this G7. Then again, this was formed in the year 1975. 1975. Please keep this thing in your mind. It was formed in the year 1975. So again in the year 1976, Canada joined this group. Canada became a part of this group. Is that understood? So Canada became a part of this group in the year 1976. Then again in the year 1998, the country of Russia too was invited to be a part of this grouping. The country of Russia too was invited to be a part of this grouping. However, in the year 2014, Russia was expelled from this grouping. Why? Because in the year 2014, Russia illegally annexed the territory of Crimea, and keeping that in mind, this grouping expelled Russia in the year 2014. Is that understood? So G7 countries, you'll have to keep in your mind, the G7 countries are France, Italy, Germany, Japan, USA, UK and Canada. However, European Union is a non-member to this organization as well. Just like India, European Union is also invited to be a part of these meetings which are held under the auspices of G7. Is that understood? G7. Any meeting which is held under the auspices of G7 will be attended by European Union as well as India. Now, India has been a part of these meetings from 2019. From 2019. Is that understood? Is that understood? There is a city called as Kansas in Canada. That city is a host to this year's G17 meeting, and it is planned to be held from June 15th, which is tomorrow, which will be held from June 15th for 4 to 5 days, right? Is that understood? Right. Let us go to the next topic. Okay, now recently there was this conference which was held in the country of France, right? Is that understood? And that conference was related to the Conference of Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Now this coalition has been started by India, by our PM Modi. This coalition has been started by India, Prime Minister Mr. Modi. He initiated this coalition, and the headquarters of this coalition is presently in New Delhi. And recently, this year's edition, this year's conference on Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure was held in the country of France. This is the first time in its history that a conference is held in a European country, right? So there are many members who are a part of this conference, there are many countries. It is said that there are 45 countries in this. Not only the countries, but also banks and many other multilateral institutions as well as organizations are a part of this group. Is that understood? This is a coalition. There is a kind of a coalition. Coalition as in like-minded countries, organizations and banks. They come together and they try and have a dialogue and form a consensus on how to deal with disasters. And also improve the infrastructure which is resilient. When I use the word resilient, what do you understand by that? Resilient as in the infrastructure has to have the ability to absorb any disaster. Is that understood? Say for example, earthquakes. If a region is more prone to the earthquakes, so the bridges and the houses as well as the roads which are getting constructed in those regions, they will have to be constructed in such a way that there is not more damage from the earthquakes in that region. That is the meaning of the word resilient, right? So this meeting was recently held in the France, which was also attended by Mr. Narendra Modi. Is that understood? Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this is what you'll have to keep in your mind. Right, the other one, the important topic with respect to our international affairs is that World Bank. What is World Bank? World Bank, we call this as Bretton Woods twin along with IMF. Bretton Woods twin, because they were established together. They were born together, IMF, International Monetary Union. But however, World Bank is known to release poverty estimates of the world, and recently World Bank in its report has revised the poverty line. What is poverty line? Poverty line is an economic concept. Please keep in your mind, it is an economic concept under which any person who spends less than an amount of money, he is considered as poor. Say for example, earlier the World Bank had fixed this expenditure amount to $2.15. So say for example, if I am unable to expend this much amount in a day, then I will be considered as a poor person. I will be below the poverty line. Now, this was the amount which was fixed by World Bank in the year 2017. But this year, keeping in mind the rise in prices as well as a lot of dynamic surveys, the World Bank has revised this number. It has revised this number and it has changed to $3. $3. Say for example, if a person, if he is unable to spend $3 per day on his basic needs, then he will be considered as a poor person as per the World Bank's estimates. Is that understood? Now let us look this information with respect to India. With respect to India, when the poverty line was $2.15, the poverty rate in India was 2.4%. 2.4% of India's population was below poverty line with respect to this estimate. But with the revised estimate of $3, it is said that the poverty rate in India is increased to 5.3%. 5.3%. Right? So this is a huge increase in the number of poor people in India. But however, keep this thing in your mind, this number is nothing when compared to the estimates of 2011 and 12. In the year 2011 and 12, India had 16.2% of India's population below the poverty lines. So this is still a better number when compared to the recent estimates. So what you'll have to take from this point is that India has drastically reduced its poverty numbers with respect to the World Bank estimates. Is that understood? Right, we'll go to the next point. Okay, now let us come to the sports section. Okay, in this sports section, recently the International Cricket Council, ICC, gave away Hall of Fame awards. Hall of Fame awards to cricketers who have laid a benchmark when it comes to the game of cricket. And those Hall of Fame has been awarded to players like Hashim Amla. Second is MSD Thala, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Third one is Daniel Vettori. Daniel Vettori, he is, I hope you guys are aware that he is a brilliant spinner from the country of New Zealand. Daniel Vettori. Fourth one is Matthew Hayden of Australia. Matthew Hayden, he was an opening batsman. Matthew Hayden from Australia. Then there are two female cricketers who have also gained this recognition, this Hall of Fame, and they are Sarah Taylor of England, Sarah Taylor of England. And the last one is Sana Mir of Pakistan, Sana Mir of Pakistan. So these are the players who have gained this recognition of Hall of Fame for this year's 2025. Is that understood? So you'll have to keep these things in your mind, the name of these players in your mind. Many Indian players have also got this recognition. In order to gain this recognition, there are some important benchmarks which the ICCI puts, and those benchmarks are that the players should have retired by more than 5 years. Is that understood? To be eligible for this Hall of Fame, the player has to have retired for more than 5 years. And the second point is that their performance should be such that it should have kept some benchmarks. It should have improved the level of cricket in their own way. Is that understood? Right. Let us get into the last topic. The last topic is regarding the tennis. Recently, Roland Garros, or popularly known as French Open, came to a conclusion, and in that conclusion, from the women's side, the victor was Gauff. Gauff was the women champion of French Open, women champ of French Open. She won a match against Aryna Sabalenka. Generally, it was predicted that Aryna Sabalenka will win this year's French Open. But however, trumping all the predictions, Gauff of USA, Coco Gauff, her name is Coco Gauff of USA, she defeated Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus to win this Roland Garros trophy. Is that understood? This year's trophy is won by Coco Gauff. This is with respect to women. Now let us look into the men's championship. The men's championship was fought between Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Now, this match was fiercely fought. For the first 2 sets, Yannick Sinner won the first 2 straight sets, and by these wins, it was predicted that Yannick Sinner would be the champion of this year's French Open. But however, the grit of Carlos Alcaraz was wrecked over the field of that French Open. In the next 3 sets, Carlos Alcaraz won, and in this victory, he defeated Yannick Sinner. To win this year's Roland Garros. So he was the winner. Please keep this thing in your mind. And it is said that the match between these 5 sets were fiercely fought against each other. This match was carried for more than 5 hours. This match was fought between both these contestants for more than 5 hours, which itself is an record. Right? So this ends my session. Thank you for being a part of Classic Education. Then apart from that, there is an announcement which I would like to make. We have recently started KAS, KPSC, KAS and PSI batch, second batch. The admissions have been ongoing. For more details, I think you can contact the number which has been blinking on your screen. Please be a part of our journey. We leave no stone unturned in your preparation. And thank you for being a part of this session. Thank you from Classic Education.